In this presentation, we're going to look at the Pareto Type 1 distribution, which is used a lot in actuarial sciences and financial maths and so on. And you can sort of see that come across in this worked example. The random variable x is an insurer's annual hurricane-related loss. Suppose that the density function of x, the probability density function of x, is f of x equals 2.2 times 250 to the power of 2.2 over x to the power of 3.2, where x is greater than 250 and 0 otherwise. Okay? Now, you're not explicitly told that this is the Pareto type 1 distribution at all in the question. Now, hopefully, the way it will come up in the exam, you'll be expecting it. But essentially what we have here is a minimum value, which is 250, and the general shape of the distribution here. You'll probably be able to sort of see 2.2 to the power of times 250 to the power of 2.2, and you start to think, oh yeah, that might be the Pareto type 1 distribution. Okay, so this is the formulas we have here. Okay, and so we have the Pareto type 1 distribution parameters, xm, okay, x of m, or xm I should say, greater than 0. That's the scale parameter. It also, xm sort of hints that it's the minimum value, so that all the values have to be greater than that, okay? As you can sort of see here, that this gives us a clue that this is xm. And the shape parameter alpha, okay? Now the support is the range of possible values, so x is between xm and infinity, okay, so that's xm is clearly 250. Now the probability density function, f of x, okay, small f, is alpha times xm to the power of alpha over x times alpha plus 1, okay? Now, just as a remark, we're going to be asked to calculate the interquartile range of the annual hurricane loss. Okay, so that's just actually what I'll focus on down here. We have the quantile function here as well. Okay. Now, first off, this bit's important here. We have to decide, is it the Pareto type 1 distribution? Okay. So, alpha times xm alpha. So, if alpha is 2.2 and xm is equal to 250, alpha times xm to the power of alpha, that fits. Let's just go back down here and see what the denominator says. X to the power of alpha plus 1, so we have x to the power of 2.2 plus 1, which is 3.2. Okay, we're happy enough that it's the Pareto type 1 distribution. Okay, so we're asked for to calculate the interquartile range, okay, and that is the difference between the third quartile, the 75th percentile, and the first quartile, which is the 25th percentile, okay. So that's sort of statistics 101, probably what you might have come across very early on in your statistical careers. Okay, by inspection we see that xm is equal to 250 and alpha is equal to 2.2. Okay, so when we write out this quantile function again, this one here, xm to the power times 1 minus p to the power of minus 1 over alpha. Okay, so x to the p equals 250 times 1 minus p to the power of minus 1 over 2.2. So for the first quartile, p equals 0.25. Q1 we'll call it. I'm not being consistent there actually. I should call it the first quartile Q1. I have there's Q of 0.25. Anyway, that's just the traditional name for the first quartile. Okay. Anyway, my notation's a little bit not perfect there. I'm just using statistics 101. So anyway, that is 250 times 1 minus 0.25 to the power of minus 1 over 2.2. A little bit of calculator work there. We should get 250 times 1.1396. So the first quartile is 284.9 And again, allow yourself a little bit of room for rounding error because everybody does it the same way. But if you get an answer close to that, excellent. Third quartile, p is equal to 0.75. So we have 250 times 1 minus 0.75 to the power of minus 1 divided by 2.2. And again, Q3 there, third quartile, 75th percentile. Again, I'm not being exactly perfect with notation. So that is 250 times 0.25 to the power of minus 1 divided by 2.2. 250 times 1.8778. So the third quartile there is 469.45. And the interquartile range is simply the difference between the two. Subtract one from the other. 469.45 minus 284.9. And you should get an answer in and around 184.55. Okay? So, and that would be, you should denote that in the units of the question. Now, it's not really actually clear in the question. So, fine, you know, but you could sort of say dollars or thousands of dollars. Okay? So, anyway, that's the answer there. Just spell it out, 184.55 units. Okay? Okay, that's it. Leave it there.